All right, so we're just waiting to connect here. And we should be going live. And I think we're good. All right, we're good. We're live. Yay! Okay, podcast episode 2, day number 2. So, I welcome to the podcast. Like I said yesterday, we kicked off with Jill Marie was here with me. Today it's just going to be me. I just wanted to, tell you a little bit of what's this kind of podcasting going to be about. What's happening here? Why is Nina having podcasts, and why are we in Genius Connections? What's going on? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, a little bit about what the podcast is. I also got an invitation for you guys, and we also got to look a little bit, just have a little kind of look into like who the heck am I? Who's Nina, right? And before I continue, though, I do want to say massive thank you to Jill Marie for hopping on day one, episode number 1. And also, I would like to let you know that I am currently talking to a lot of people to co-create and to handle the podcast. It's going to be super cool. It's literally people from around the world. So it's always going to be at a different time. I can never set the time because once it's going to be New Zealand, then it's going to be United States, then it's going to be somewhere in Europe. So we can never really do a set time because you're going to do it whenever people is awake, and how it works out. So, okay. So that's going to be coming up. So stay tuned. My goal is, and I'm a big believer in goals. I do goals in my private life. I also do goals in my business. And what I just said now, and by speaking it, I'm also declaring it, right? I'm declaring that I'm going to have a podcast every single day for the rest of this month. All right. So now you can hold me to it. It's done. It's set, right? So now it's like pressure's up. It's going to happen. All right. Super cool. So that's the number one. Yes. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about who I am before we continued into this world of podcast. And so my name is Nina. I'm from Northern Norway. Grew up, got an older brother and older sister, and grew up where grandparents had a nursery with flowers, and I was actually at the market as a 6-year-old just helping out selling flowers, and we did like fruit and vegetables, and I can still feel my nails, but it's like freaking cold, washing those like freaking carrots in the fall, and it's water that was like freezing. Oh my gosh, I can still feel it. So that's all in northern Norway. So really into the Arctic Circle, but right on kind of like in the first valley as you come north. So that was great. That was really cool. I did that. Then I did for my high school. I did like a business school with accounting. Yes, and I'm really glad I did because I also did that actually at university. I also studied economics, right? And I always think it's good to have it, frick. I mean, you know your numbers, know how to budget, then later on, as you will learn, I had a restaurant, different things, so all good things. Okay. And yeah, so then I did all that. When I was 18, like, then you're supposed to decide what you do after high school. And I was like, I actually wanted to go to Australia at that time. I wanted to go down and work at a cattle farm. But I couldn't figure out the ticket. I remember I couldn't figure out the money. It's quite expensive. And then I managed to get like on an au pair program and go to United States, right? It's like, okay, can't go to Australia. Let's go to the States. And it was the first time I've been on a big plane. And that was back in the days. You could smoke and drink in the back of the plane. It was like a party in the back of the plane. So that was in 1993, and that was my first time, like I said, on a big plane. And good tip if you're young and if you haven't traveled before, it's always good to kind of go with an organization or go with something that is like a little bit more safe instead of, you don't have to like, go with a backpack and end up in some country you haven't been to or don't know, whatever. There's ways around that. Anyway. So then I did that, and then had a great family that was in Atlanta, and went to Piedmont Park and hang around Atlanta. I love that. So I actually look forward to be able to go back to Atlanta. I haven't been there since 98, I think. But anyway, so I was in Atlanta, and then also me and my friend, we got Amtrak tickets. So this is like, with a train, right? And Amtrak United States is not Amtrak Europe. It's very different. It's very different. And so we ended up going all the way around, though. We went to DC, Chicago, San Francisco. Oh, I got so many stories. I gotta leave United States for another podcast on its own. Yeah, I done all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I'm just reflecting right now. I'm not going to start touching on it, but there's things like we ended up on the Greyhound for 48 hours, like being in San Francisco, didn't sleep for a whole night. And it's like a lot of crazy stories. Anyhow, beautiful though, travel around. So, Grand Cayman and all kinds of stuff. So United States was awesome. Then I came back from United States after a year and was home for like 6 months, and I was like, what am I gonna do? And they had this like Nordic exchange jobs, right? So you could go to, so I can remember I was now in northern Norway, right? And now I can choose, I could go to Iceland, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, or Greenland, right? And I thought, perfect, I'll go to Greenland, right? It's like, how far can you go, right? And so I applied, at this time I'm like 19. And I remember coming home because these like the days before the incident stuff, and I came home and it was like I got the letter and I got the job. And I remember I opened the letter and I looked at my mom and I said, "Hey, mom, what's in Greenland?" She said, "Icebergs and polar bears." I'm like, "Yeah, what else?" She said, "I don't know, me neither." It's like, and then I got a job for a month in freaking Greenland, and I was like, okay, cool. And I remember I was going to the library, right? So this was in like 1994. And we came to the library and I found a book. I actually still have it. Actually, I still have it behind here somewhere. Anyway, I'm not going to look for it now, but I have it here, and a copy of the same book. But what it was, the only book I could find from Greenland was from 1974. It's like, so everything was completely outdated, right? But that was okay. So at least the town names and things were the same, right? Okay, so then I did that, and then I was supposed to stay for a month. Then I extended that to 4 months. And then I went home to Christmas real quick to pick up some stuff, and then I stayed for 2 years. Beautiful, it's like very different, and but yeah, cold. I mean, when you get 20 there, it's like woo, it's like as warm as it gets, right? So that was Greenland. So many stories from there as well. I mean, whales and hiking and beautiful people, and my gosh, there's a reason why I stayed there for 2 years. Let me put it that way. And then I came home, and then so I went to also studied at the university there. I did like one subject, and the university is called Illusimittusaukvik. It's like Greenlandic words are like in Norwegian is this, or English is like this. No, how do I get it into screen? I don't even know. This thing. It's like, anyway, they're like super long words. Okay, so then I came back from there, and then I went to the regional university here in the north to study IT and economics. And then I was like, coming into the first year, it's cold, man, it's winter. And, I just spent 2 years in Greenland, and I was like, how does this exchange program thing work? It's like, how do you get all these things, right? And it was good, because I was studying IT, right? So like IT, you can study all over the world, same thing. And then I was like, okay, look, there's like a university in Australia. I'm like, frick yeah. so then I applied and I got in, and I got to go to Australia. Like my dreams for many years already at this time. And I remember I landed and I came, and it's like, frick yeah. It's like I shared an apartment with a Swedish girlfriend. Her name is Charlotte. I need to actually catch up with her one day. And we were literally 2 blocks away from 42 kilometers of beach. 42 kilometers of beach. Are you freaking kidding me? It was like, boom. I was like, yay. Oh my God, I love that so much. That was amazing. And then so we were studying there, and I had a blast, rollerblading. I mean, the freaking awesome about. You see the pictures from there. It's like, yeah, it was like the time, right? Um, and then unfortunately, so my mom was actually, she passed away. She was on a holiday in Thailand, Phuket, and she actually rescued somebody from drowning and ended up herself in a coma. And anyway, that was just another. Well, actually, what happened was I was in Australia, and at the time, I actually had lost my passport. Like it was like, oof. So I was outside of Brisbane on the Gold Coast, and I got a clearance to get a new passport, but that was in Cadbury, so that's in the south, right, or south, more south. And that was one of the biggest things I think that I ever experienced, like from the Norwegian embassy and all this, because they actually let me leave Australia without a passport, and the Norwegian embassy met me in Bangkok at the airport and gave me a new passport so I could do immigration in Thailand. Wow. So that was a big. And anyway, and then they helped me like where I could spend the night, and things like that. Yeah, it's super amazing. So that is something. Yeah, we could talk more about that maybe again on another podcast, right? Um, yeah, but then I went to Norway because of what happened and all this, and in January I was then due to go back, go down to Australia again to finish my studies because I still had a couple of exams I had to do. So I did that, and it was like, again, it was like -20 in January in northern Norway and in the Arctic Circle to like +30 in the summer on the Gold Coast. It's like, wow, it was like 50 degrees different in like 24 hours. So I was like, insane, right? And came back, finished my exams. So that was good. But then, oh, I didn't tell you that, but when I went to Australia, I actually got a round the world ticket. So I had a ticket, British Airways, I remember. That's how I bought the round the world ticket. So I could go from Norway to Atlanta, to where I was an au pair. And then I flew LAX or Los Angeles, came over New Zealand way and to Brisbane. That's how I got there. And then I had on the same ticket, I had a flight to New Zealand and back that was already paid for. Um, so then actually that's actually Los Angeles to Brisbane. I was like 14 hours on the plane. Even the flight attendant gave me a bottle of champagne when I came because he was so excited I was landing. It's like, how cool, right? Anyway, so then I came back after being in Norway because of my mom, and then I went to New Zealand because I had the ticket already. And New Zealand is beautiful. I remember on the South Island, I was even hitchhiking to get around, and I met some great people. I mean, we were traveling around, and I would like do a painting job at a backpackers just to stay there for free. And it's like really, really, really cool, really cool. And yeah, did the South and the North Island. And then I was leaving, and then a good friend of mine committed suicide, right? So I'm going like, you know what? I mean, this was like really messed up, right? So, and he was a really good friend of mine from Greenland, right? Now he passed away, and now I'm like, kind of like, I'm starting to ask like, what's the meaning of life, right? I mean, like my mom would like rescue somebody. He, decided to end this journey, and I couldn't really, I don't know. So basically, what I did, I went to see a psychiatrist actually at the school, and I said, you know what? I think maybe I should be traveling and not studying. Literally, it's like you actually, because the Norwegian government help you with money to pay for the school, right? So I think I just need to take that money and travel. And so anyway, so that's what I did. I traveled. And I traveled all the way around Australia. Again, I went on my own, and I remember because it was February, something like that. Because it was February, most people were actually traveling north because it was winter in Australia. Can I be right? Yeah, winter in Australia. and I was traveling south. I was kind of traveling against the traffic, which was fine. I was like hitching rides with people. I would just put up a note and saying like, um, "Hey, who's going to Melbourne? Want to share gas?" and blah blah. And I would chip in on the gas. I would help to drive or things like that, right? And that's how I traveled around in Australia. It was freaking awesome. I met so many nice people, and then later down the road, I was often invited to spend the night or to come and stay. Come and stay at my place when you're passing through. It's super cool, right? So that was like awesome. So that's how I traveled around, and then I also did about a week in the bush with what the fuck is that guy's name? I can't remember. But I was literally sleeping in the desert in Australia under the stars. It was like amazing. It was super cool, right? so, so we did that, and then I came back, right? Came back to Norway and finished university. Had a great time and enjoyed it, and Bodø was fun. Good group of girls, and ended up in Oslo. Then I was in Oslo for 3 years. Started my IT career. Found my partner at the time, a Canadian guy, and then we got engaged or whatever. We went to London. Then I spent 3 years in London, which was freaking amazing. I mean, we were literally like going to festivals, traveling. Like we would go Maldives, Sudan, Paris, Brussels, Rome, Germany, Canada. It was just like travel, festivals, skydiving, dive instructor. I mean, no, actually, I wasn't a dive instructor yet. I was diving. Like we went like 5 times to Egypt or something like that. It was crazy. Val d'Isere, skiing, snowboarding, you name it, we did it, right? But at the time in London, yes, I was freelance. Yes, I had my own company. There's some more fun stories about that. But I had my own company by the time we reached like 2006. But yeah, we were like working a lot too. It was like, fuck, I had like 3 hours commute, right? And we were like, you know what? Maybe we need to change this. And what we did, we packed up everything, right? So my partner at the time, like he gave up like an expat deal of, the BMW and the crystal chandelier and all that stuff, and we were like, nah, life is more than just working like that and then spending freaking Saturday on shopping for clothing for work. Even though we did have some nice trips too, we did that too. Anyway, we wanted a different life, right? So we decided to go to Mauritius and become dive masters in order to do the next step to become dive instructors, right? Which was amazing. Mauritius is next to Saba is like my 2 favorite places, beautiful island. Mauritius is like this place where you have like in the north, it's like flat white beaches, the water is calm, you have like the French supermarket that has like super like air conditioned. No, you don't have to haggle, you can just buy the food, the prices on the food is done. And then you can go to the south where it's like rugged and rough and like freaking kite surfing that's out of this world, and you can go to market where it's like where you have like it's crazy. You have like headless chicken running around, so you're like, you can choose what you want to do, and you have to haggle for everything down the market, of course, so the diversity on the island is amazing. So we stayed there, did that dive master, passed that, and then went over to a Danish guy, I believe it was Björn. He had this scuba diving instructor course, whatever, in Phuket. So that's what we did. We went over there and did our dive instructor. Then we hopped over to Phi Phi, which is a small island outside of Phuket. Actually, it was interesting because I got to be in Phuket in 2000. It was on my mother's birthday, actually. I was actually in Phuket, the place where she had the accident. So yeah, that was pretty special. But anyways, then we went to Phuket, to Phi Phi, which is a very small island, freaking awesome, but very much like a backpacker scene, like lots of party and stuff like that. And I was like, we did it for a while, but I was like, no, man, this is not good. So we went in search for somewhere else to go. right? And we ended up going to Malaysia, have a look around. Awesome. I mean, diving, Sipodons, on Borneo is amazing. I mean, all the little creatures in there is amazing. Just a little side note: I'm having a couple of divers coming on the podcast with me. So if you're interested in diving, let me know in the comments down below. Um, and what else was I say? Yeah, so we did the diving. We were over there, and then if you are a professional PADI instructor, because we were SSI and PADI instructors at the time. If you're a PADI instructor, you can actually go on to PADI's appointment board, right? And you can just look at jobs all over the world. And I mean, if you want to travel and you're a diver, that board is just like freaking amazing. It's just like, where are we gonna go? And that's how I found Sabre, or we found Sabre, because they were looking for 2 dive instructors on Sabre. And we are like, where is that? So, I don't know. It's in the Caribbean. All right. How do we get there? I don't know. It's like, okay, so we have to look it up, right? Because Sabre is one of those places. It's just so small and not many people have heard about it. And that's why, like, in my Ingenious Connections, the Facebook group, I actually have a whole guide called Sabre, right? Here it is. Look here. Anyway, so that's how we ended up on Sabre. We got the job and we came there. And this is hilarious. So we came there, so we went to Canada, did some more skydiving, because at that point we were certified, right? So because I got like 38 skydives total, right? So we went to Canada, did some skydiving, and then we went down to Sabre in the Caribbean. And I remember we came to the airport, so we were picked up in a pickup truck, right? And I got the honor to sit in the back, and my partner, he was sitting in the front together with a gentleman called Wolfgang, who was running the dive center and a hotel. And it was so funny. So I was sitting in the back, and I remember I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I was sitting in back of the truck, and I had a beer, and I was just watching everything going up, because I didn't have to talk, because my partner at the time was talking in the car. I was outside. And I was just looking, I go like, oh my gosh, this place is beautiful. Oh, wow. And immediately fell in love with the place. And listen to this. So that was on Thursday. And then Friday, so the first day as dive instructors for this company called Scout's Place and Sabre, what do you call it? Sabre Divers. We had to, the first job assignment we had was actually to fix the carnival float. It's like, okay. So we spent that first day working on the carnival float, because the carnival was on the Saturday, right? So it came Thursday we came there. Friday, we were fixing the carnival floats. And then Saturday, we had to take the carnival float down to the village where the carnival parade was going to be. And at that time, there was like tons of electricity wires. You had to kind of go with like poke it up, like to poke up the wires everywhere to get the float down to the bottom, which is the capital where we had a carnival. So anyway, so that was, and then we went to the parade. So then comes Sunday morning, we still had not been in the harbor where we were going to work. It's like, okay, should we maybe go and look at that water we're supposed to be working with? Oh, so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh, we had such a good time. It was, at the time when I was there was in total like 7 dive boats. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We always radioing each other and stuff like that. And beautiful, beautiful diving. So then I did that for a year, and then it was like, yeah, okay. Well, in the meantime, I split up with my partner and whatever. Got a new guy for. Actually, I met the father of my child, right? Anyway, so then a year later, we go like, there's a restaurant for sale. So, okay, went to have a look at it and bought the restaurant. So now I'm in the Caribbean. I can't remember how old would I be? 20, I don't know, 30 something maybe. Anyway, so we buy the restaurant, and on the 1st of October we bought it, and then opened the 1st of November, and by freaking mid-November, guess who's fucking pregnant? Yeah, me. So 14 days after opening the doors in the restaurant, I'm pregnant with Odin, right? It's like, okay. Maybe the timing was a little bit off, but okay. so anyway, so then Odin was born then the following year. That's 2009, while we still have the restaurant. And I took a couple of months off, not much. Self-employed, that's what you do. That's picking restaurant for you. You always, it's like a 24/7 thing, right? And yeah, well, amazing. I mean, the restaurant was beautiful. Oh my gosh, the food, the atmosphere, everything was just freaking awesome. Hard work, though. Hard work, and yeah, behind the scenes, there's a lot of shit going on. But you know, the restaurant was really pretty, and they still have a restaurant there today. And even we were living like literally a minute away from the restaurant, or even like 50 seconds walking. But we were living above a bar. So at the time, it was called Long Haul now, but it's called Save Our Treasure at the time. Anyway, so what we would do, Odin, he used to sleep in the back where there was a bakery. It's called Busy Bakery today, but it's Eden Bakery at the time. And okay, well, let me tell you what happened. So we bought the restaurant. Now the restaurant had a bakery in the back. So when we took it over, we did not want it to do both restaurant and bakery. But one of the girls that we were diving with, and a diving instructor, she always wanted to do a bakery. So we said, okay, why don't you do the bakery and we do the restaurant, you know? And that's what happened. So there was a bakery in the back and then the restaurant in the front, and we did lunch and dinner. And then Odin was born, and then he used to then sleep in the bakery when I was working in the front in the night. You know, so cool, you know. So he was there with us, right? And I remember this one time I was working, it was only me and Norbert, so Odin's father, where we were working together, and we had a table of 8. And I saw that the food was getting ready, and that freaking kid, Odin, he woke up. I was like, damn. And I remember going in, I picked him up and I said, Odin, you gotta go back to sleep. And I picked him up and I walked like one time around and I turned in the bakery, fell asleep. I put him down and I went out. I got the plates and I served the plates. Normally we had extra people on so that if I had to go because he woke up, it wasn't a big deal, but sometimes we didn't. Anyway, so then we did that. We had a restaurant, and yeah, a little bit of traveling during that time. Not too much. Went to Europe a couple of times. Went to Puerto Rico. But yeah, and then 2015, we sold the restaurant. Okay, restaurant business is finished. We're over, and I split up with my son's father at the time, and me and Odin moved into a house, and I call that house the happy house. It's like, oh my God. I was like, there is no bad vibes around this house whatsoever. If you have a bad day, go back, come back tomorrow. So fuck that. And what I did like so much color. If you see pictures from that house, it's like rainbow colored curtains. It's like anything that has like color, I would be like, yep, that one, order that, order that, order that. And I really went for the high vibe. And that house was so cool because the earliest picture I can see actually is that house is from 1870. Then the house was there already. So it's older than 1870. And the energy on that space is so amazing. So amazing. It's like, I remember just sitting on the steps at that house and just know that so many generations has been sitting on these steps. Happy times, sad times, hard times, good times. You know what I mean? Like I can really, I'm very energetically connected. I love that space. And also at the moment, that house, if you're standing at the house and you kind of look up the mountain, it's like, okay, there's avocado trees, like a big one, 2 big mango trees. When I came there was 1 banana tree. That's now like 7 or 8 of the sweet bananas, right? And mangoes and papaya tree. And then I have passion fruit growing, like, because passion fruit grows as a vine. So what I did, I have it, it's like a freestanding tree in a spot when I made a parking lot. And I'm just letting the passion fruit overgrow that tree. It's not a fruit bearing tree. So it's perfect. And it falls down right to where you park the car. It's like perfect. So anyway, and then around there, I also had, all the herbs, right? Basil and all kinds of stuff. Like, just like super cool. And I also did have a garden at one point. I even had a kale, and the kale was like 3 years old, guys. 3 years old kale, same thing. just keep on picking from it. And that's what I'm also a big believer in, that people should um, plant things you can harvest from. Like I did the carrots and those kind of things, but it's like, fuck, you pull it out, it's done. It's like, no. Have spring onions, sweet peppers, kale, all the things you can pick from, and you can have it for a long time. Awesome. And also, me and Oli, we used to go like pick sour sap. We can go back with like 25, 30 sour sap, right? Oh my gosh. So very fertile soil on Ceiba. Very fertile soil. So anyway, so that was my happy house. So I got there in and then I got there in 2015. Yeah, so I'm in the happy house now, right? So I just sold the restaurant, and now I'm like, restaurants. I mean, freaking, it's like if you make $1,000, well, guess what? You need cutlery or ice machine or something, right? You always need to spend money on something, and there's always like, I remember, and the people who knows who this is, it's like I also remember coming there, like say like after lunch, right? And the girl in front would be like, the guy in the kitchen. I was like, what the fuck? And I come to the kitchen, and the kitchen would be like, the girl in the front. I was like, damn, guys. I mean, can't you even do like one service? It's like, anyway. So when I finished the restaurant, when I sold it, actually, I had a spiritual. I remember sitting when I sold it. That it was 1st of April. 2015. I was sitting outside of my house. Anyway, and I had like a small bottle of champagne, and I opened it all by myself, and I was just like, I remember now. I said that, and I drank it. I was like, I was so happy. I was so happy. I was like, okay, like I did it. I'm still here to tell the story, And then I started to do gardening and paint houses. I was like, thank you so much. That's all I want. I just want it simple. I just want to go somewhere and do my thing and like go at home. So like we paint, we'll get there like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, 11, 12, done, home, finished. And I didn't have to think about it anymore. So that's kind of, I started with that. And then gardening, grounding. Yay, make it pretty. Yay. It's like, I'll do that. That's over here. And love that job. And also my partner at the time, we did a few things together, as well. So anyways, that was good. It was nice. I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoy painting a lot. I love gardening. But then I also got a little bit back into business. So I was like a business consultant, and I was also at the whole time I was teaching computers. I actually started that 2012. I love that too. Excel and all that stuff. Just teach people how to work smarter. And look at this. Oh my God, I didn't know you can do that. I'm like, no, exactly. It's like exactly. So I just help people, and like, these are the things you can do. It's like, you don't have to go the hard way around. I remember, I don't know if you're going to see it, but I remember I went to like a parent meeting at the school, and the presentation was basically a Word document with like font 90. I was like scrolling through the Word document. I was like, could you just get this girl on like a PowerPoint course? It was like, oh gosh. Anyway, so yeah, so then I did business consultant. I was teaching computers, and also, okay, so then I 2019, that's when I started to work online. If you're in a group called Genius Connections, you will see more about what I do online. That's not the focus on this call, this podcast though. Yeah, so then I started to work online, and then I was doing that, and then I also did Body, Mind, and Spirit, which is a non-profit on Ceiba. An amazing organization, so much important work, kind of being the bridge and being the connector for, people that, can't really found their ground, so super awesome. So one of the jobs I had to do at Body, Mind, and Spirit was driving around and fill up all the stations where we supply free condoms, right? It's one of the things. I'm like, fuck yeah, I can do that. So anyways, then we did all that, and then my son is now 14, and that's why we are now in northern Norway. So on Ceiba is basically like 365 days of like from it's usually it's like 28 during the day, 28, 30 during the day. You hardly ever, you don't have the 40s, but you also don't have the 15s. It's like, it's so close to equator. It's like freaking perfect weather. Where the many people are living, not most, but people live all over the island, kind of, almost, not really. But what's really cool about Cebu too? There's like 62 nationalities, right? There's like people from all over the world. It's so cool. Anyhow, I was living at 470 meters roughly on Cebu, so I always had a breeze, but it's like perfect weather, right? Yeah, rainy times too. But anyway, now we are in Norway. Now we are further north than where I'm actually from originally. I think it's like 500 kilometers into the Arctic Circle. So in December or that time, we had like no sun for like a month and a half, like no sun at all. The sun would not come over the horizon. Now, but we had the Northern Lights, right? And now in May, we're going to move into the season where the sun is not going to go below the horizon. So I didn't actually check it this week, but I'm pretty sure like by now, probably sunrise is probably like, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the night. And then sunset is like probably like 11 in the night. So, and I love to be able to show this to my son, right? To take him from small Cebu, where it's super safe and easy, right? Because it's only 13 square kilometers, right? So that's like 5 square miles, right? So it's very safe and easy and all these things, right? And then take him to Northern Norway, which is like the complete opposite, right? And I'm gonna, that's gonna help on the life experience, right? On the loading up on life experience. So that's why I decided to do that also, so that he get to know Norway and also for his development, right? So he can do what he wants. That's why we're here. So we're here for him. And yeah, I gotta share with you guys. I have been struggling a little bit about finding my bearings here. But what I'm doing now, so I'm here now, and we made it through the winter, yay! And we've been having a lot of fun in the snow. My son really likes it, and I am now doing like a substitute at the school. So I really love that. I'm at the children's school where I teach. I really love to be with the 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. Like, I mean, they got the awesomest of energies and questions, right? But then I also teach them English up at the high school, right? So yeah, so now we're here, and then we have to see where we end up. I mean, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I don't feel I'm gonna be staying here. I feel this is like we're here now, but we're not here forever. Now, but not forever. You never know what's gonna happen. I know that, but I can feel it already. I mean, people ask me, it's like, how long will you stay? Like, why don't you, get more permanent positions and things in up here in the north? I'm like, no. No, I don't need that. I don't wait. I don't feel that at all. I really, I'm not done traveling. This is my passion. My biggest passion is travel. I gotta say that. I love to go places, see things, do things, and I don't know where we're gonna end up. At the moment I'm thinking to go back to Cebu one day, or after when my son Odin is more established, or maybe not, or maybe we'll go somewhere else. Who knows, right? It's too early to tell. In a way, I think I will go back to Cebu though, just because that's such a beautiful place and I love it so much. But let's see. For now, we're here, and my way through staying up here. Let me just have a sip of water. I talk a lot. Okay, so yeah, so I don't know where we're gonna end up and where we're gonna go. We're here now, right? My focus is 100% in my online business. Why? Because when my son has a holiday, we can go, we can travel, we can do. That's why we're doing that. So I got to keep focused on that, on my online business, because when that works, we can travel. And in the meantime, he can do what he needs to do. And I can tell you, he's member of like HEK, there's like a bike club would have like a pump track and all kinds of stuff. He's like, he loves it so much. And I'm like, yes, 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 that's why I'm here. And he loves the snow. He loves the snow more than me. It's like a jam. So that's good. That is good. And he gets to know his family. And I came here the 7th of August, and literally like 2 weeks ago. So now we're in May. So mid-April, I think. Oh yeah. No, it was the Friday before Easter. I got a phone call from like the census office, and they said, I had to call you to tell you, but finally the last paper was approved. So my son was now officially signed into Norway. It took me 4 months to sign into Norway, and it took my son 9 months, whatever, 10 months to sign into Norway. So this is huge. So that's done. And that means that he will always have an easy access to Norway. Like he has the passport now and all this, which is great, because I didn't know, but I thought, so where he's born, he has a Dutch passport, right? And I thought, okay, Dutch passport, you can go anywhere you want in Europe. That's what I was thinking. Guess what? No, because the Caribbean Dutch passport don't have a social security number. Wow, little did we know. So anyway, finding out all this stuff. But anyway, so that's where we are right now in northern Norway, and summer is coming up. So and yeah, so I just wanted to share that story with you guys. Any questions? Let me know. I will go in and I will check the comments after. Stay tuned. Like I say, my plan and like my commitment is to have a podcast every single day. Most days at the moment, it looks like there's tons of people who wants to come on with me. If you watching this and you want to come on, send me a private message and put your hand up and say, Nina, I want to come up and chat, and it's more like I call it like, it's not very structured. It's like, I call it like a conversation dance. Who are you? It's to your story. Who are you? There's so many interesting people with so many interesting stories. Let's share them. Who are you? Like, what's your superpower? So if that's you, comment down below and get in reach or find me. You might have to, if you're seeing this on YouTube, I don't check that very often, so you might have to come and find me on Facebook. But anyway, come and find me, and yeah, and we gotta live life. We gotta live life. Do find your passion and follow your passion. That I am strong believer in that, right? And things will be okay. Things will work out. It's not going to be easy. Life is not always easy. It's not going to be easy peasy. It's got to be freaking hard. Sometimes you have to be, you got to get up. And what does it say? Always fall forward, fall forward, up again. Let's go. And find things to be excited about and be happy about. And yeah. All right. I got to round it off. Thank you so much for watching. And like I say, tomorrow I'll be hopping on. I'm not going to say, there's got to be somebody with me. Okay. I wish you a great day, and thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe, like, and follow so that you get the notifications. I think you should have gotten a message if you want to subscribe so you get a notification when we go live. Because like I said, I can't say when we're going to go live because I have people from all over the world tuning in. Sometimes it's New Zealand, sometimes it's America, sometimes in Canada, Europe. So I got to do it whenever it's a time that works for the other people. So amazing. Lots of love. And yeah, share where you're from in the comments. If you have comments where you're watching this, let me know where you're tuning in from. I love to travel through just talking. All right. Thank you so much. Do it. Let's see.